Operation Status Quo. Operation Status Quo. Prepare to engage. Operation Status Quo. Ready to engage. Operation Status Quo. Engaged. Engaged. Engaged once again, ladies and gentlemen. How many times can we be engaged? Well, honestly, we're engaged 5 days a week right here on Operation Status Quo. Status Quo. Status Quo. That's every Monday through Friday, which includes Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday as well. We come here each and every week, all week around this time. I've been putting in the notes. I'm trying to keep it around 3 o'clock. You know, I pretty much can, I guess, do whenever I want, but I'm trying to keep a consistent time because the audience has been expanding and new people are checking things out, and I'm trying to make it so that we're all on the same page and in the same ballpark and all that type of stuff. And hello and welcome. Let me give you a nice round of applause. It's so great to be here. Yeah, I know. I know. Hey-o. So, okay, I'm sorry. My name's Pete Palma. Thanks for being here with me on Operation Status Quo. Of course, this is the space where we observe the status quo of life. We learn to flow with the quo of life, and then we create our own flow of quo, because that's the only way to go. So, because, you know, as we say all the time here on Operation Status Quo, the world's crazy out there right now, and things are going in such flux and change and all that type of thing. And, you know, I'm a man of the people. That's one of the things I kind of get off right from the beginning. I'm a man of the people. I love you, the people. We're the people. And, you know, honestly, I don't say that like to be like sarcastically funny or anything like that. Like I say that really because we are all the people, and it's up to us to make our way through this life the best way we can, to feel happy, to feel love in our hearts. And this is a space, you know, if you're new here again, please know that this is a space not only, you know, I come on every day and I do my little to-do and whatever I'm talking about and blah, blah, blah. But the truth is, this is a space that I want to encourage others to participate and feel welcome to, some people are just feel happy to sit and relax and listen in and see what's being spoken about, which is great. Others, you know, if you're interested and have a skill, a talent, something you like to share, something you do, I don't know, musician, juggler, some kind of holistic practitioner, energy healer, I don't know, whatever you do, as well, auto mechanic, we could talk about spark plugs. I don't care because that's the whole point of this space. It's a space for a community. It's a space to build a community, and it's a space to let everyone share. And, you know, there's no reason to just talk about one thing over and over and over again. Like I said, when I was talking about that earlier in the week regarding, you know, just the paradigm of YouTube or whatever you want to say with algorithms and such like that. And I mentioned this, I think, the other day when somebody was telling me, you have to have a niche. And it's like, I don't know. I don't want to do the same video every day about knitting a sweater. Today we did this knot, and today we do this knot. I mean, there's too much going on in the world. We got to talk about everything, don't we? Hey-o. Yes, we do indeed. So today's title, well, first of all, today is the 7th of June in the good year 2023. Hello and welcome. Glad you're still out there wandering around in the world and making sense or making some sort of enjoyable moments out of your day. I hope you're doing that anyway. But so that's the date. We get that out of the way. And today's episode is entitled Aliens Among Us. Are they really out there? You know, I found, and this is why I'm two reasons. One, I titled it this because yesterday I was watching an episode of The Five on Fox, and I want to say something about that too before I go further, but I just want to say this segment on The Five yesterday on Fox, they were talking about aliens and this whistleblower, you know, that has, says that all this stuff is real with the recovering the spacecraft and such. And, you know, they kind of scoffed at it. They went around the table and they all like made like jokes about, oh, there's no aliens and, you know, all this type of thing. And honestly, it frustrated me a little bit. And I want to say this now, yeah, I do watch some Fox, but I want to let you know, because I'm not a mainstream news person. I'd say this all the time. It's all lies, basically. Well, yeah. I mean, generally, it's lies. It's at the very least, it's distraction. They're not actually telling you any pertinent things that are going on. It's all fluff and nonsense. So, you know, generally around 5 o'clock, if I have the time, you know, I'll sit down and I'll flip back and forth between The Five and whatever. I think it's a Jake Tapper or whoever the hell's on CNN. And I'd just like to bounce back and forth during that hour a little bit to see like what they're talking about on, you know, the right side and what they're talking about on the left side, and just see the difference of like what stories are so important, you know, over here compared to over there. You know, then I like to watch I'm giving my whole itinerary here because I want to get this out of the way, because I always tell people don't watch the news, but I do put a couple hours in a day just because I'm just trying to see what the general population is soaking in, right? I'll watch my local news like from 6 to 6:30, and then I like to get on there with David Muir and watch what's going on world news, because, you know, I like, you know, he's one of my favorite clones, or, you know, robot, or whatever the hell he is. We know he's not real, David Muir. The search for David Muir, I did an episode about that. Let's find this man. He's not out there. We've never seen him. He doesn't go anywhere. Hey-o. He just sits there. He just sits there like this. He just sits. And today, more tragedy. And tomorrow we'll report more tragedy. And we're trying so hard, but everyone is suffering, and everyone will continue to suffer, and you will suffer too, because suffering is what it's all about. Don't you understand? It's suffering. Suffering. I mean, that's what the news does, right? Oh my God. All right. Enough of all that. But anyway, I just want to get, I guess if I was going to choose one to watch, but they both get me agitated, both sides, you know, the right side and the left side of news reporting, because they're not telling you anything. And what really gets me agitated is, like, you know, especially because I lean more towards, I guess, you know, well, I don't even want to say I lean right, but I don't know what to say. Like, I'm not one of these woke kookadoos, you know, I'm a normal person. I don't even want to chastise that in a sense. Like, whatever someone's belief is, just, you know, the only thing I care about the most, and I know it goes down so many roads to even start talking about this, but I just, you know what I really just care about the most is people not being a victim. That's all. You know, whatever goes on in life, you know, whatever's happening, whatever circumstances are, whatever your beliefs are, and all that type of stuff. At the end of the day, you know, it comes down to whatever's going on in the world. You take responsibility for yourself. You don't blame others for what's going on, and you move forward and you make things happen. And it's enough already. It's enough. Everybody crying and whining, and who owes this person, and oh, who hurt my feelings, and oh, you can't say this. Hey-o. Where'd the owl come from? But anyway, seriously. So I mean, that's the thing. But if I was going to watch news a little more, I guess I would watch more of the Fox side, even though it's really annoying. It really is. I can't take too much of it. Either way, no matter which channel I watch, I can't take too much because they never talk about anything. They just go on and on and on about the same shit that don't mean shit. So anyway, long story short there. And again, to say, because I know people in my family, for example, you know, they're always telling me, oh, I saw Fox today and they said blah, blah, blah. And I watched Fox today and they said blah, blah, blah. And I go, how many times have I got to tell you to stop watching this shit, that it's all bullshit and lies? I said, if these people were real and they cared about you, they'd be coming out and telling you that Joe Biden's a clone, for God's sake. They'd be telling you about the human trafficking. They would tell you about the Clinton Foundation and Evergreen and everything else. They would tell you this kind of stuff. Haiti. They would tell you how children are trafficked all over the world. Hey-o. They would tell you about Walmart and Wayfair and, you know, all the other crap. They don't tell you any of that stuff. They would tell you that the banks are already basically collapsed. Nobody's even said it yet. And the dollar is not worth anything and people in other countries are coming off it. They would tell you this kind of stuff, but they don't. They don't. And that's the point of why we're getting to where we finally got to. 8.5 minutes in. Finally getting to where we are. Because I watched this video and it made me agitated, so I'm gonna play this segment that was on the 5 yesterday, and we're gonna go through it together because I just get a kick out of how they're so dismissive and just like laugh at it, like oh, who believes in aliens? We're human beings. We must be the top. We're the top of everything. All, you know, we're out in space, the whole universe, and it's just us, you know, and all this kind of thing. Well, I mean, in a sense, that is true. I mean, I'm more of a believer that we are the aliens in a sense. It's all because I'm under that whole multi-dimensional thing that I always talk about. But I'm not going to get into that at this particular moment. So let's go over here and let me pull up this video because I got it ready to go. And we're going to hit play and we will go through this together. Me and you and you and me. Okay, here we go. Let's listen to these knuckleheads.
Are aliens among us? A military whistleblower going public with some incredible claims about UFOs being hidden from the public. The former Intel operative says there's a secret government program that has been retrieving crafts of, quote, non-human origin for at least several decades, as well as the alien pilots.
These are retrieving non-human origin technical vehicles, call it spacecraft if you will. It's probably not the right parlance, but no kidding, non-human, exotic origin vehicles that have either landed or crashed.
We have spacecraft from another species.
We do, yeah.
Okay, now watch.
Okay,
Here we
I'll
go.
start with you. How concerning is this whistleblower account to the safety of average Americans?
I feel that this story is a lot like Harold Ford Jr. Too good to be true. The biggest problem with this whole UFO stuff, and it bubbles up every like 2 to 3 weeks, it used to be a couple of months, is how badly everybody wants it to be true. Because we have such a decline in religious belief and people are desperate for something beyond this troubled orb.
See that right there. First of all, let me go back. Right there, that gets me agitated, right? Because like he's saying, people don't have religious belief, and again, because why? Because this show, this channel, Fox, it's slanted so super over the top Christian nonsense, right? That now like that we have to say that if we accept the idea of aliens existing, right? If we accept that idea, then it's going to dismiss God or it ruins religion. When in truth, I mean, like there is the Book of Enoch, right? Whether it was part of the Bible or whatever, that talks about our human origins that's been dismissed. It talks about the Watchers, the aliens that basically came and seeded the planet. So anyway, all right, let's go back to our friends here.
Our mortal coil, and we're ready to embrace what's called like the woo-woo-ness of a story. Ooh, it's so exciting. It's exciting. And we do that with AI. Friends of mine especially love this idea because the possibility of the idea being the biggest idea ever. If we do have alien life, there's nothing like that since the beginning of time.
Actually, it has been. We mean there's nothing like that. It is the beginning of time. It's all of time. It's again going back to the multi-dimensional thing, and I love how they do this now with showing some little object flying. Nothing that you can really kind of get your hands on or get a handle on. Like they're not showing some alien walking down the street. Although there are, I mean that's a whole nother story we can get into. That the aliens are really among us. They shapeshifters. People who have heard of that type of concept and stuff. Anyway, but I'm just, again, what we're doing here is watching how mainstream media always lies, and it's basically, and then not on top of it, just forget the lies. I mean, it's just a matter of they make everybody look like fools, right? You can't have a intelligent conversation about a topic that's like kind of, everybody wants to, again, because what do I say? They keep us in this little petri dish of shit, making everybody believe that, this little playpen that we're in and this little societal structure that's built is it, and that's it. And if we knew our true origins and knew the truth of how beyond everything really is of the little everyday life that we're told to live, it would all shut down and that would take all their power away. And, part of it is like the aliens that are, keeping us in this kind of way because they feed off of us energetically. That's the whole thing with the Draco and, and the reptilians, they actually feed on energy. So for us to live in fear the way we do, the way our society is set up, they're on another level, feeding on us like cattle, which we are. And let's continue.
People want this to be real. This guy sounds reputable, but he's relying on other witnesses. He hasn't seen anything, so I don't buy it. Whatever exists outside our time and space, I believe. And maybe when we see things, it could be like little glitches, like maybe a system update, that you get on your computer where you see little weird things. That's all this could be is just little system updates. Beep, beep, beep. But there's no aliens.
I will say the one part that I would, give a little credence to and what he said there is like what exists is outside our time and space. I would say part of that is true. I mean, I think there's all kinds of life all around us all the time. Again, it goes back to the fact that there really is only one moment and one energy, and it all kind of is all levels, basically. So, it's not like some alien decided to fill up his gas tank and fly, 670 trillion miles across space, to check out the Grand Canyon. It's a little different than that. All right, let's continue and see what the other knuckleheads have to say.
All right, Chesley. Woo. The whistleblower claims that there's an arms race for people who can discover, collect those UFO objects or the origins of them.
There is.
And this guy's in the military.
Right.
I mean,
So if you're at the Pentagon and if you have spacecraft, what do? You hoard it because you don't want China, Russia, you don't even want France to have this stuff. So you reverse engineer the tech and then you give the patents to these defense contractors and they get rich and then you could get some crazy spacecraft that we can fly circles around the Russians with. And then you call everybody who's hot on the trail a conspiracy theorist, and that stigmatizes them so they don't get too close. Because, Judge, what's the role of the government? One of the main roles is to make sure the population doesn't panic. If you come out and you say, you know what, we've been lying to the country for the last 5 decades. We've been collecting spacecrafts and aliens for a while. What's going to happen? People are never going to trust the government ever again. There's going to be run on banks. There's going to be weapons stockpiling. All hell could break loose. There's going to be mass panic. People took pills because during COVID. Imagine if you tell them there's little green men that the government's been hiding from us. Everyone's going to go nuts.
They lie.
Now, I do agree with a lot of what Jesse said in that particular segment as far as, but again, they kind of bring it down to, little green men. They always dismiss it that way because, again, we don't speak on the level of energy and all that type of thing, that it's more so than, just little green men running around. But the one comment he made in there that really stuck with me is talking about reverse engineering the equipment and such. And, I've talked about this many times. A lot of people, if you resonate with the messages I share, then this is something on your radar already anyway. But of course, Hollywood and the movies are basically always telling us what's really going on in the world, right? But they lie to us. I mean, let me take a step back. The movies are telling us really what's going on, but we just perceive it as a movie because they do it as entertainment. But the truth is, the powers that be and just the rules of engagement, as it were, in the universe, universal law. The population has to be told what's going on, right? And then it's up to the population to make choices and decisions and understand. And unfortunately, the sad part is, and I see it more and more, as I've realized this over the years, and I go back and watch I go back and watch movies, and I realize how many messages are actually being shared in these movies that, we don't even. We would just be like, oh, wow, that's a neat idea. That's a movie. So long story short, over the weekend, I had never seen this before. It's from 2017. It was the Spider-Man Homecoming movie, right? And it was really good, I have to say. I really, really enjoyed it. I love Michael Keaton. He's one of my favorites, all time. Even when I was a kid, Mr. Mom, Night Shift. Oh, my God, was Michael Keaton not the best in Night Shift? All right, but anyway, the point is, in that movie, basically, the alien ship had crashed during the Avengers movie, and he's a salvage guy and blah, blah, blah. And he winds up taking the alien equipment, making weapons to sell. And it's just funny, right? Because here you are watching, the news, and they mention something about reverse engineering the equipment and such. And, this has been going on. Like, this is not anything, brand new, So that I just find, again, it's hard to put in words sometimes, because the concepts are so amazing and everything's so subliminal and how messages are shared out to us, right? So, and I look back, and if I hadn't seen the Spider-Man Homecoming over the weekend, I never would have even thought that, but they literally, it's exactly what they did. He was going around finding pieces of crashed ships and taking the equipment and making weapons and selling it to people and stuff. So, I do agree with Jesse's points here. So, but let's see the other guys. Let's go back and finish this off. There's only a few more minutes here.
JFK.
Exactly.
Yep.
They lie
Yep.
about everything.
Dana, despite...
Oh, yeah, that's right. In that part right there, Greg had said they lied about JFK. And I'm like, I'm not even getting into that right now, but, he's being tongue-in-cheek. But guess what? We know they lied about JFK. All right, here we go.
All of these alleged breakthroughs. I mean, nobody's answered the question, have we had direct contact with any of these UFOs?
Well, it's a secret office, apparently, at the Pentagon, maybe elsewhere. And I would say that the Pentagon chief did say that there has been some sort of unidentified metallic orb spotted all over the world. So it's not just an American phenomenon. There are people around the world who believe that they have seen things. I am just going to
Now look how they worded it right there. There are people around the world who believe they saw things, right? I'm just saying that's how subtle it is with the mainstream media all the time. They just do, that's the language they use to make you, there are people that believe that, but obviously that could never be because that's just ridiculous and they're just conspiracy theorists.
Wait until I need to worry about this.
Good
Right
idea.
now, I think that we have plenty on our plate. I don't think I can add this.
Hey, Judge,
I'll
Yeah.
melt down.
before you go to Harold, I would like to volunteer to take 3 aliens into my house.
Yeah, okay. And you'll make millions depending
Yes.
on what they tell you.
I was going to say, if he wants to take 3 aliens into his house, I'm sure they can ship him. They can ship him from down south over his way. But I'm sorry, that's a horrible joke, ladies and gentlemen. Let's stay on topic, please. I can't help myself sometimes.
All right, if the U.S. is far ahead of the rest of the world in terms of these UFO sightings, are we, it's 300 times apparently higher than the global median. We've got 2,500 sightings
Per 10 million people.
per 10 million.
We're
We're
seeing
really
some
on
things
this.
that people
Okay,
are
so
saying.
are we just obsessed with them or is this thing real?
I have no idea, but I think we can settle this. If indeed this whistleblower, if indeed the government wants to refute what he said, come before the Congress and give us the answer. Come before a closed hearing with the Intelligence Committee and give us the answer.
Yeah, good luck. Like they're going to do a real hearing and give real information. Let's just, if this is really going on, are you kidding me? This has been since the beginning of dawn of time. Go back through all the history. They've been drawing pictures of shit in the sky. They were carving the crap on walls, before they freaking had pens and paper. They were carving the shit on walls. You're telling me, how can any educate? That's what I'm trying to say, right? At this stage of humanity and everything that's been put out about this type of information through all these years and years and years and years and years, and you sit there and scoff at it and make it like it just can't be. That's what really gets me. There should be like a really, something's really up here and we have to figure it out. The truth is they don't want it figured out because that's the way, they don't want us to know our true origins. They don't want us to know where we come from and the nature of our humanity overall. They want us to believe that we're just what we are, these little, helpless beings, that happen to be here on Earth. And thank God we got the federal government to take care of us because otherwise we wouldn't know what to do. Thank God they poison our food and air and water. Otherwise, we would all be healthy. So thank God for that.
I'm skeptical about this. I love the movie E.T.
I do too.
But I don't believe that E.T.
You don't?
coming down here phoning home anytime.
You didn't believe that?
It was a great movie.
Home.
Phone.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful movie.
It was. It was wonderful.
it's based
Up
on a true
next.
story.
What?
Based on a true story.
Yeah. Did you have contact with E.T.?
Oh, many times.
Okay. Up next.
All right, so let's let it go there. I'll give a round of applause. Close this out over here. Oh boy. So there you go. That's what I'm trying to talk about here today. Heyo. Aliens Among Us, and that's what they titled their story there, and that's why I titled mine the same since I was sharing that clip. But, it's just such an interesting, again, there's so many, you could pick any topic you want nowadays, whether it be aliens or the wars or the politics or the finances or, even all this stuff. I know this is jumping topics a little bit, but, even the whole thing, with the transgender community and they making such crazy uproars over, all this, like, and this is what I mean when I talk about, like, left and right type stuff, like, on one side, like, I don't even want to put left and right. I really, really don't, because the mainstream concepts, all that stuff. It's just, again, I go back to like just saying, stop being a victim. Whatever's going on in your life, stop being a victim and just stand up, be true to who you are, live true to your heart. There's no one really out there. A transgender could move in next door to me. I'm not going to be like, oh, God, I got to leave the transgender. Who the hell cares? Do whatever you want. It's your life, your body. Just be a nice person and be respectful. And it's really not that complicated, But like even down here yesterday, they did a whole story, of all these transgenders in Florida that are, putting together GoFundMe pages because they want to get out of the state because they feel like their health rights are being discriminated against. I don't know what to say. I don't understand why these, people feel like they're so downtrodden. Or you go to the doctor, okay? I'm just saying, if they're talking about medical issue. I don't know what the medical issue is. You go to the doctor. Now, say you're somebody that transitioned. So you're biologically a man, just for example, you became a woman. I'm not sure what that entails all the time. Like, does every man, change his genitalia? I really don't know. I mean, I'm not going to say. Just saying. So what I'm trying to say is, if you go to a doctor, is it discrimination if, like, the doctor, grabs your balls and says cough so he can check for testicular cancer or something like that? It's like, does the transgender say, you can't, I want you to check my vagina because I'm a woman now? When the doctor says, well, I'm sorry, I'd like to check your vagina, but unfortunately you have a penis. I can't check a vagina that is actually a penis, but I'm a woman. I'm a woman. Okay, you're a woman, but there's a penis here. Can I just I only know what to do with the penis. Hey-o. That's all I mean. Like, I really don't mean it. It's nothing bad about it. Whatever you need, whatever you're, I'm sure, there's groups and there's whatever you need. It's there is all I'm saying, in all our facets of life. So I'm sorry. I went off on a tangent there. I'm going to let that part go. I just don't like the idea of feeling victimized in our world. Like, you don't have, nobody's a victim. The only time, if you feel like you're a victim, you're making yourself a victim, and you're not empowering yourself to be your best. And here on Operation Status Quo, it's all about empowering people to be their best and to think outside the box and just, and just give space to let the messages from your heart come through and resonate and be the best you that you can be. So that's what we talked about here today, aliens among us, because, it frustrated me a bit watching that yesterday because, like, I know they're being funny and all too, but, nobody ever comes out and just, like, says what's up. It's always this thing and everything's a conspiracy theory, and it's always, oh, this is so, how ridiculous. Even with spirituality and stuff, go back, I'm a big fan of Alan Watts, right? When was he talking? Like in the 50s, 60s, I don't know, 50s, 70s, 50s, 60s, probably 60s, definitely, Anyway, he was speaking all these messages of oneness and such. And, look how long it took for society to even catch up a little bit to kind of accept some of these concepts. Like, people now are just starting to think, oh, maybe I should meditate, or maybe I should learn to breathe. And that's like a big extra, like, oh, well, it's a tough world out there. How do I learn to just sit, in peace and meditation or something like that? Like, that's like what should be taught from day one. That's day one stuff of being a physical entity in this plane, in this life, as a soul incarnated, So I don't know. That's what I'm talking about. And it frustrated me what they did there a little bit yesterday. So I wanted to bring it up here today. Aliens among us. Are they? Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. Half of them are probably aliens too. Half of them are probably aliens too. The Queen, Queen Elizabeth that died last year, she's a queen. She was an alien. She's reptilian. I believe that. That's for darn sure. All right, listen, seriously. Guys, thank you so much for taking the time to be here with me today on Operation Status Quo, where we observe the status quo of life. We learn to flow with the status quo of life. And then, of course, we create our own flow of quo, because that's the only way to go. You got to just know what's going on in the world, feel it out, and then live true to your heart and do what's right for you, because, your life is all you have. And if you're not taking responsibility for yourself and being true to yourself, then no one else is. And they'll be taking advantage of you for sure if you allow them to, the world out there. So please take the time to like, subscribe, share, send this out to your friends, your family, those you love, and of course, those you despise as well. Don't forget, you're welcome here. Send me a message. My contact information is in the description box below. You're welcome to be on the show. I'm happy to share your ideas if you just want to send me a message or whatever the case may be. I'm here for you because I love you individually as well as a group, each and every one of you. I do. God bless you. I'm Pete Palma. Until tomorrow, Operation Status Quo, disengaged.
Is a boulevard of 10 short blocks.